Thank you for joining me today, guys, and I'm just going to make a super quick video. It's not really, anything too drastic, but I feel like it's quite impactful, especially for a lot of players that are entering ITFs, including myself, obviously, still looking for that first ITF or ATP point. But yeah, there's just some big impactful changes happening, and I feel like it's long awaited. In theory, you could have no ranking, you could be, just an average Joe out there, and you can enter an ITF, and if there's not enough players or enough people pull out and you're on-site alternate, you can just potentially get in. And that's been the case for the past couple months or years. For a lot of people, you've been obviously the people that are aspiring to go pro, you would turn up to these events in hopes that other people don't show up in order for you to get in. So you can't plan anything, you have to go out, spend the money, and just hope. That's all it was. But right now, the ITF have introduced that they are using the WTN, so World Tennis Number. The WTN is similar to the UTR system for Americans, and now they're using it across the world, obviously, but essentially it's from about, I think, 30-ish, or 30 or 40, I'm not sure where the bottom is, and it goes down to 1 or pro again. But the higher the number, obviously, the better it is, and it calculates your results similar to UTR, so it's an algorithm, and it gives you some sort of number, not necessarily the most accurate, but for now it's better than nothing. So yeah, I feel it's hard because, for example, if I'm entering Brit Tours and I need to improve my number, if my number's on the just below what qualifying is, I can't get into those competitions to improve my number. So once I get in, obviously everyone's the same number or higher, so it will always help me. Now, if I have to keep playing lower grade events to get my number up, you're always going to encounter people that are lower than you, which is probably going to negatively affect it. So it's a really weird cycle where it's really hard to get into events to improve your number, because it doesn't really accurately reflect someone's ability. For example, if there's a really good up-and-coming player, and they have a low number, and they've played loads, they just haven't played many matches and competitions, and the numbers thinks they're a weak player, so the numbers think they're a weak player, but in reality they're a very good player, and then they might improve over time, but then it really negatively affects your number if you lose or get a bad score. But in terms of the ITF and how this is going to affect my futures, every week from now on, I've been looking at the acceptance list, and as you can see, we have ITF in order, then ATP, then WTN ranking over national ranking, which is a huge, step forwards, I feel like, for people trying to enter and get into the scene, because now you have some sort of idea. Some weeks before you've been really high, some weeks you've been really low, but on the acceptance list now, you can see that there's a certain order, and every week is going to be fairly consistent, depending on now how many high-level players and ranked players enter the event, not turn up. So now, obviously, it's not just chance anymore. Someone lower than you can't get ahead of you until you don't show up. So it's going to be more consistent across the board for multiple weeks. So if you were to go out for 1, 2, 3 tournaments in a row, you know that it's going to be, you have a fairly similar chance each week on the list. So that means you can afford to go spend out that money to stay for that amount of time and play those events, instead of just taking the chance and potentially not even playing, which would be a complete waste of money and time for you. So I feel like it's a massive step forward. I think it's a beneficial step for people trying to get into the scene, and I feel like if it's too exclusive and you don't have that option for people to get into the sport and play these tournaments, it's just going to be too hard to get in, and no one's going to make it. And that's just going to be just bad for all areas of tennis. I feel like you need more people playing, you need more exposure to help with people making a living from the sport. So, I feel like it's a little step, but it's a one in the right direction. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, so in these future tournaments that you actually have a chance, if you can start now playing in your country, get your own number up, and then eventually it'll fall into place when you try and play internationally. So yeah, I feel like that's just an interesting little rule that's been updated for the ITF, and yeah, Thank you for joining. Please like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you guys in the next video.